Hello, and welcome back to the Hearth. It's been quite some time. It's good to see you again. I hope you're staying warm. It does get quite cold during the winter. If you're feeling a bit chilly, you can sit by the fire, and I'll be over with some refreshments and a story shortly. Once again, it's good to have you back, and I hope you enjoy your visit. There once was a boy who lived on a mountain. Every day he took the path down to the village for school, and every day he took the same path up the mountain back to his home. His parents had given him only one rule to follow. He must never leave the path. He followed that rule faithfully, sticking to the path every time he left the house. As time passed, however, he began to wonder, why must he stay on the path? What mystery lay off the path that he was forbidden to see? The more he wondered, the greater his curiosity became, and he found himself sneaking looks into the forest, leaning farther and farther off the path, but never quite straying from it. Finally, one day, he did it. The boy left the path. He trudged into the forest, the dark trees showering him with the imposing joy of discovery. The road was soon out of sight, not a second thought spared. The ground grew soft and muddy, the trees bent and angled into the soft dirt. The mud grew deeper, culminating in a great swamp, crisscrossed by fallen trees. The boy clambered across the trees, slipping and crawling his way to the other side. A massive toad rose from the water, startling the boy. Its eyes, each the size of a basketball, reflected the fading sunlight. Chains rattled as they pulled against the toad's body. "Who are you?" the boy asked. "I am Unclaimed," the toad replied. "I have no name. I am master and prisoner of this swamp, and its sole inhabitant." "That sounds lonely." A resigned rumble echoed from the toad's belly. "My brethren dwell in this forest with me, although we do not see each other. I hear their cries from time to time." "You have brothers?" "Indeed." The toad flicked a webbed foot, muddy water surging up and washing away a fallen tree. "We were abandoned here in this forest long ago. There were many of us once. Now only my brethren and I are left. Together we are the last of the unclaimed, bound to our prisons by our namelessness." The boy felt for the toad. To be stranded here, unable to leave, unable to see his family, it pierced his heart. "I'll claim you." The boy scooted across the tree, getting close enough to look the toad in the eyes. "I'll name you and everything. I'll find your brothers, too. I can name you all." "Name us?" the toad echoed. "You would do that?" The boy nodded. "I can name you right now." He scrunched his brows together, trying to think. The great toad sat back expectantly. "You can be Grog. You can be Grog." The change snapped and fell away, and Grog, master of the swamp, gave a great stretch. "I am Grog," he said, savoring the name. The boy smiled. "You have freed me," the frog continued. "Climb on my back, and I will carry you across the swamp." The boy complied, and Grog carried him to the other side of the swamp, gently depositing him on the ground. "When the time comes, I will help you return home. I wish you success in freeing my brethren." The boy waved farewell to Grog, continuing into the forest. He came to a deep ravine, with walls so high he could barely see the sky. It was night now, the only light coming from when the clouds revealed the moon. With not so much as a single qualm, the boy journeyed intrepidly into the ravine. There was a tremendous rumbling and shaking, and a massive two-headed lizard crawled into sight, a chain and collar around its neck. "Who is it that enters my ravine?" The lizard's tongues flicked out as it examined the boy. "No one has visited me in a long time." Each head moved separately, although they spoke as one. "I'm a friend of Grog," the boy said. "Grog?" the lizard questioned. "I don't know any Grog. All my friends have no names." "Grog is the toad in the swamp," the boy replied. "I named him." The lizard's eyes widened, an admittedly odd sight to see. "You named him? You named him Unclaimed?" The boy nodded. "I'm naming all of you." "You are?" The lizard scuttled across the floor of the ravine, circling the boy. "How curious." The chain pulled taut, and the lizard returned to his spot on the wall. "How long have you been here?" the boy asked. "Since this ravine was nothing more than a tiny river," replied the lizard. "I have seen many moons pass, confined here to this place. I stopped counting long ago." "Who left you here? And why did they lock you up?" The lizard cocked one of his heads, his tongues flicking pensively. The other head dipped up and down as he thought. "I've quite forgotten," he finally said. "It's been so long since I saw anything save these walls. I hardly remember anything else. That is what it means to be unclaimed." The boy rubbed one of the lizard's noses sympathetically. "Let's claim you, then." The boy scrunched his brow again, racking his brains for a good name. "How about Magus?" The lizard curled his tongues, as if tasting the name. "Magus. It sounds regal. I quite like it. Magus it is." As he spoke, his collar clicked open, falling to the ground. Magus pranced around gratefully, jumping all over the walls of the ravine. "I'm free! Joy of joys, I'm free!" He landed with a tremendous impact in front of the boy. "You've freed me!" The boy nodded happily. Magus turned around, sweeping his tail behind him like a ramp. "Quickly, climb aboard. I'll carry you to the other side of the ravine, and you can find my brother. Once you're done, I'll help you get home." The boy climbed on Magus's back, and the great lizard carried him to the end of the ravine. The boy bid Magus goodbye and continued onward. The forest grew thick, and before long he was struggling to see. He squeezed through the trees, using what little light he had to make his way forward. He emerged into a large clearing. In the middle was a beautiful white owl, chained to a boulder. "A visitor," the owl mused. "You have come to claim us." "I have," the boy agreed. "I have heard the joyous cries of my brothers. You have freed them. We were imprisoned here, abandoned by the ones who made us. The Unclaimed have waited a very long time to be free." "Who made you?" the boy asked. "Any of us who knew are gone," the owl replied. "Those of us who are left remember little other than our time here, chained to our cursed domains." The boy's curiosity was only paralleled by his sympathy. Who would create these creatures only to discard them like this? "Name me, visitor," the owl pleaded. "My imprisonment here only grows more agonizing with freedom so close." The boy thought for a long time, trying his best to come up with a name. It had to fit. He wanted it to be a good name. "Archon," the boy said with certainty. "Your name is Archon." The chains snapped, and Archon stepped forward, spreading his mighty wings. He sighed deeply, savoring the feeling. "I am free." "You have freed me, boy." The boy grinned. "I am the last of the Unclaimed," Archon said. "You have saved us, but you must return home." With that, Archon picked up the boy, carrying him over the trees. When he came to the ravine, he gave the boy to Magus, following behind them as the lizard guided them to the swamp. Finally, Grog carried the boy back across the swamp, Magus and Archon following behind. Together, the three of them brought the boy back to the road. "We are free because of you," Archon said. "Though we may leave, simply call our names, and we will come to you." The boy nodded. "Thank you." The three left, heading down the mountain. The boy walked up the path toward home, the humble cottage soon coming into view. He pushed the door open, kicking off his mud-covered shoes. "I'm home," he called. Chains snaked out of the darkness, wrapping around his ankles. The door swung shut as the boy was guided into his bedroom, that door closing behind him as well. Chains enveloped the door, preventing it from opening from either side. The chains fastened to his wrists as he laid in his bed, holding him in place. He waited quietly in the dark, as he did every day. Today would be the day. He knew it. His parents would come home. They would finally come back, and he could tell them about the friends he had made. He had left the path, but he was sure they would forgive him. They would come back today. He knew it.